I'm assuming that's not my coffee store, right?
Oh shit.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that.
Can you make coffee?
Like, please.
Can you
Is
make
it for
coffee?
me to decide?
Yeah.
It's 10 past 9.
Yeah.
Bianca needs to be out of here by latest 10:15.
10:15.
Or can we have a chat?
We're rolling. I'm rolling, Ken.
No, can we chat?
Yeah, just check.
No, Debs, can we chat?
Yeah.
You don't need to clap it in.
I would not.
Must I clap it in?
I don't say it was stopping that thing.
I know, but Q's still gonna edit.
Yeah. No, you don't need to clap.
Okay, thanks, sir. Anyways, that's it. I just want to say officially, even though I know like this has to be in the edit, I want to thank the production team. Debs and Khomot in particular, because Usizwe, I don't know what happened. I don't know where he is. And Q's not here. So we're not clapping in today, which is pretty dope, but we're trying something different with the lighting, just so you guys know. And I was checking the monitor. It's called a monitor. Checking the monitor, and Bianca's looking amazing. Miss Bianca Costa, welcome to the Penuel Show.
Thank you for having me again.
Again? So first time here. Yes, you and I have said, but you must respect the platform.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, we were finishing off on the industry, the entertainment acting industry. And I was saying, you're going to need to take yourself seriously because you've been here for a while in Joburg. And I think you've done a little bit of work. The one thing in Joburg is that people don't care. What I mean by that is you are an asset, a commodity, but you're only as good as you can make money for platforms. What am I trying to say? You know, like with soccer players,
Yeah.
or sports stars, rugby players, they are used and abused, and then when they're not performing, they get kicked out for the next talent. So the entertainment industry is the same. And you need to see yourself as like a brand new car and get as much work as you can and get people in the industry that like you. But people don't care. You need to care for yourself. So it's as simple as that.
That's true, yeah.
As amateur as I was when I started, I just realized people are not professional. Number one, people in the industry are not taught how to be kind on set. Because everyone wants to be a superstar. So everyone thinks, I got cast for this role. The production team doesn't care what you got cast for.
Yeah.
You are no different to a microphone to them. So you must just do what you're meant to do. So with that, be kind, be polite. Good morning. Sorry, I'm not sure. Please stand here. Go there. Okay, sorry, may I please ask? When the production team is speaking, because they are the most important people, not the actors, you must keep quiet. Until you are a big star and a diva, you must shut up. Because I've seen people get chased off set. I've seen people get chased off set because a lot of the production guys are actually huge assholes. But it's because they're working under pressure for client. But like I said, for whatever you're going to be doing today, just have fun, man. Because if you're not having fun, then there's no point.
Sure.
And do your best and give this thing a decent enough shot so that when you leave, you're like, I actually really tried. And I realize it's not for me or I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's all. How have you been?
You know how I've been.
Not lekker.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Because of you.
Because of me? Stop it.
I'm joking. But the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wanted us to speak about a couple of things. I'm going to mention them even if we don't get through all of them.
Okay.
Public perception and opinion.
Yeah.
You wanted to speak about mental health, and I think maybe we'll start with that because, I'd like to know how you are.
Okay.
And then maybe touching on modern society and our expectations of relationships, marriage, etc. But I think as a start, we don't need to speak about the interview we had because this is not about that. But I'd just like to know how you are and your thoughts around mental health.
I think the past few weeks after the episode dropped, I can't describe, but I've been at my lowest. I've never been afraid to pick up my phone or check my socials before. The past few weeks, I'm always tense. I'm like, okay, I wonder what's on today. I even had to switch off my notifications on my phone because it was just so insane. When the episode dropped, I was actually back home in Swaziland. And I knew this would happen. I knew it would happen. So the Sunday, I drove back home and I was with my mom and my sister. And I told my mom that, Ma, I don't think I'm ready for what's about to happen. And then she was like, no, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You're here at home with us. And I was like, okay, cool. So when the episode dropped and the comments started on Twitter, I lost it. But I'm really, really glad that I was with the right people. If I was here in Joburg by myself, I don't think I would have survived.
Yeah.
I don't think. In as much as I want to be in entertainment, I want to be on this platform, I think now I realize that I do not like attention. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, but not to people that are going to be watching this. Can you try and explain?
I don't want eyes on me like that. I don't want to be trending on Twitter. I don't want to see my name trending on Twitter. I don't want that attention. I'm very comfortable and happy with the audience that I have and the little space that I take up. I don't want to be on the news for the wrong reasons and all. I don't know how I could properly articulate this, but I just don't like attention, man. I really don't. And if there was a way that I could do what I love and do what I aspire to do with the acting and all these things without the attention, I would do it. I really would. Like people who cover their faces, these DJs, our DJs who in them, they got it right.
Cover their faces? What do you mean cover their faces?
Remember when he used to wear the...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Are you speaking about Umzegezege?
Isn't that Tucci Spook?
Sbu claims that Umzegezege is another person. I've asked him many times.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to confirm. Are you guys happy with the mic? Should she speak closer? Even if she moves back? Okay, thank you. Okay, before I speak, what does mental health mean to you?
I think it's a clear mind. When you're at peace, when nothing's bugging you. I don't know how to properly articulate it, but it's just peace, peace with who you are, where you're at in life, just peace. And there's nothing poking at you, nothing filling your mind. Man, it's what I strive for. Like peace, clarity. I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to be, in the wrong spaces. I just want peace in everything that I do. And I don't know how I can achieve that. So mental health for me would just be that peace, without the voices in your head thinking, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have went there. Maybe I shouldn't have, just that peace that, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm here with Penuel on the Penuel show. I'm happy with it. I'm calm. After this, I'm going to do this. I'm calm. Everything is just flowing and my mind is okay. I'm not doubting. I'm not questioning. Yeah.
Do you think you are adequately prepared by your parents and school for, I guess, what you'd call the noise that is the world out there?
School, no. My parents...
Do you think you were sheltered at school?
Yeah.
Because you went to Matthew's Posa, which is like in the middle of nowhere. Yes. You guys are like isolated.
And you were not allowed camera phones. So we had no access to the internet.
You lived in a bubble.
Exactly. It was beautiful. In my opinion.
And your parents?
My parents, no. I don't think they actually intentionally like, okay, you need to protect your... No. But they obviously comfort me when I need it and stuff. Yeah.
Do you feel that more should be done? More should have been done to prepare you?
I think that's my responsibility.
No, but it's because you're old now. And it's because you're kind of suffering now. But like it's late.
True. Yeah, more could be done. I think maybe one day when I have kids, I'll know to better prepare them for these kind of things.
How would you prepare them better?
Just allowing an open space for them, like my parents did for us. I just want them to always speak up, let me know how they are truly feeling, and maybe look into therapy. I know that's very taboo for a lot of Black communities, but I believe in therapy. I believe, people think that going to therapy means that you're going to get an answer. Like the therapist is going to tell you, delete Instagram. No, you're just going there to let it out, say, hey, this is what I'm going through. And sometimes that's all you need, just somebody to actually listen. Because at times, parents don't listen,
Unfortunately. And sometimes it's not by choice because they're busy with their own stress.
Yeah. So you can't fault them on that too.
Myself and Utebza believe in a principle called stoicism, which is basically men being real men and being rough and aggressive, what society today calls toxic masculinity. And it's conversations I have with Pence and my brother quite a lot. There's an amazing guy on YouTube called David Goggins, who is an athlete. I think he's ex-Navy SEALs. Yeah.
Yeah, I want his book.
Yeah, he speaks very much about training to have like a calloused mind. So calluses are these sores you get when you do like hard labor or you lift weights.
Yeah.
These sores you get on your hand. So he speaks about building a mind like that is strong. I was, I'll call it blessed now in retrospect. At the time, I didn't think so. My father used to beat up my mom, and my mom struggled financially for a long time with the three of us. And at the time, it's not nice. And the way my father lived his life, he was not just violent to my mother, but to other people. He had guns, loved dogs. He was like the epitome of toxic masculinity. My brother and I went to school and we played rugby. And in rugby, you meet like Afrikaner men, and they are very big on firm handshake and hitting each other on the field. Later on in life, when you meet other human beings in society, you realize that our skin and our minds were trained to be so thick that the things that hurt other people, we laugh at. And I've had to caution my own brother in telling him, consider that other people are not the same. It's like, no, but these guys must stop being punks. I'm like, bro, they didn't grow up like us. They didn't go through what we went through. One of my friends in varsity came back after the school holidays crying. And he called us all for a meeting. I think we were in second year. Jens, I have something to tell you. He was sitting there thinking, yo, what the hell happened? It's like, yo, I found out that my dad cheated on the family. I'm so gutted. I wanted to laugh so hard. But even at that time, I realized we're not the same. I was like, shame. For this guy, this is really sad.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, your dad cheated with another woman. Oh, welcome to real life. And now that I have children, one of the things I am big on is how do I prepare them for a dark world while at the same time making sure that they see the beauty in human beings. Because Twitter, Jamie Foxx said this, Twitter is just a microcosm of society, number one. So if we've got 60 million South Africans, maybe 10 million on Twitter, so it's not even all. Number two, of the people that are on Twitter, the ones that will maybe attack you on a post might be 200 people.
Yeah.
200 out of 60 million. And of those 200 people, some of them are not really real. They're professional robots and trolls. Some of them just had a bad day. Some just misunderstood. So having that mentality helps. But I will tell you this, because we're not the same. You don't just run into human beings. You don't just run into the streets and get hit by a car and be like, I'm going to get stronger. Because you might actually die. So for the rest of us who have not been trained at school, at home, by society, we have to approach, in particular, social media with great caution. And 2016, when I was depressed, Instagram used to trigger me in the weirdest way. I'd see people winning, see celebrities just bought a car, just got a gig, traveling overseas, and that stuff used to make me feel weird. I felt like a failure, and I stopped following people that were winning.
Jeez.
Because I realized it was fucking me up, and I felt like a loser. And I've curated my social media now, and I block. I think ever since our interview dropped, I probably blocked 20 people a day, because I realized that it's important. But at some point, yes, you switch off the notifications and you just get off. But there is no exact template.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Could I ask you a question?
Go for it.
You just gave an example of David
Goggins.
Yes, him. You believe in the things that he teaches and stuff, so that masculinity, a man should be hard, you need to train and all of that. How come you fell into a depression then?
It's a great question. Are you interviewing me?
I'm just curious.
As soon as you are born in this world, you are brought into a pile of shit. Most of it is not in your control. You don't choose your name. You don't choose your religious belief. You don't choose which country you're born in. You don't choose your parents. You don't choose your family members, some of them who might be rapists and murderers. You don't choose your siblings. You know, you're lucky if you have amazing siblings, but you don't choose your siblings. I mean, we didn't choose to have the internet, as an example. We found ourselves here. And you don't choose the life goals. The whole thing of going to school and getting a good job, you didn't choose that. You were told.
Yeah.
And you have to try your best. That's all. And some of us have advantages. You're good looking, you speak well, school comes easily, you're athletic, you're born in the right family, you're born in the right country, etc., etc. But you try your best. And the whole point of life from birth till death is to manage what we call risk. There's like an official term called risk mitigation, which is lowering risk. That means instead of putting this cup here, because it might fall, like you shift it in to be like, I'm lowering the chances of it fall. It might still fall, but there's less of a chance.
Yeah.
Your parents put you in a safe house. They put you in a safe school. They train you so that you can get a good job. They tell you, don't go there, don't do this, learn this language. If someone swears at you, run away, all to mitigate risk. As strong as I am, as strong as other people are, you can only do so much. And your mind can only take so much. Please understand, David Goggins has probably been depressed a lot. And the sad thing about him and other people like him and me is we speak the way we speak now because of pain. Like there are, you know, when I read the tweets that were attacking you and me, I don't really care. I realized that a lot of them were young men that are in pain. It's young guys who sold a dream of what the world has to offer and what women are like. And they have been hurt, heartbroken. There was a girl, pretty girl somewhere that rejected them. There was a girl that cheated on them. And some of the toxic masculinity figures on Twitter speak to them. And when there are other girls out there who represent the girls that hurt them, they're like, this is my chance. Fuck that bitch. I'm gonna actually fuck her. And if ever, this is a girl they don't know from a bar of soap. If she has a breakdown and she maybe commits suicide, they feel like a victory. Not because of the girl, but because someone hurt them. And now they coming to like express their pain here with strangers instead of therapy, instead of going to get healing.
Yeah.
So as strong as I am mentally, I have shortcomings. I do break. And sometimes when you're very strong, you take on a lot and maybe more than you think you can take. And sometimes that breaks you. So you become a social worker. You're strong. Maybe you're Oprah Winfrey. You were molested as a child. You've counseled so many people on your show. You've met so many amazing people. And you decide to do social work. Every day you're listening to like young girls who have been hurt. And it's a lot for you. And one day there's a girl that comes in, and when you hear the story, you just break. And it's like, you can't break. You are Oprah. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All we can do in life is try and mitigate the risk, manage the risk. How has your experience been with therapy? And outside of spending time with your family, what would you say, maybe your therapist, or what would you say would be some of the ways that young girls and young boys, I guess, some of the ways they could manage their mental health and minimize the trauma, especially online and in the real world?
I think, this was the first time that I actually sat down with someone, well, last year for the therapy sessions. I didn't go when my parents had their divorce, so I was just like, okay, I got it. But with where I was mentally, I think everything it was so overwhelming last year that I'm like, no, I need to do something or else. I was literally on the verge of suicide. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I was.
No,
like,
you are. It's your truth.
I'm like, okay, this is way too much now. I'm tired. It's a lot. So I was like, let me just go see someone before I do something stupid. So when I got into therapy, I didn't know what to expect. just like everyone else. I thought maybe she'd tell me, okay, do this, do that. And she didn't. She just sat there, a lovely lady. She's in Midrand. She sat there and then she told me, why are you here today? And then I just started crying immediately. But you know, I'm a cornball. I cry for everything. So I just started crying and then I just let everything out. And she reassured me that this is a safe place. Whatever we speak about here, it's going to stay here. So with that knowledge, I just let everything out, my truest, deepest, the thoughts that you tell no one, you know, and I just let it out. And she was just able to make me understand why I feel, you know, certain things, why my perspective on certain, I don't know how I can properly articulate it, but she unpacked, you know, my emotions, the things that I was going through. She asked me about my childhood, and yeah, I think it was very freeing because I've never had a conversation like that with anybody, with family, friends, you know, it's always just fly-by conversations, but this was really deep. She actually asked me, like, how do you feel about it? And no one has ever asked me, like, how do you feel about your parents' divorce? How do you feel about your pictures being used? Nobody's ever asked me. Just like, you know, people's comments. So that was really liberating, and I enjoyed that. With other, I know people don't really care for therapy. No matter how much you try to be pro therapy, people really don't care about it. Even now, they're just like, you're just wasting your money. How is somebody else going to help me with my problems? They also have their own problems. And I think it's mainly because people think that therapy will give you a solution. Sometimes it's just good to talk, to let it out, because your mind, when you have all these thoughts, contradicting thoughts, it can get really heavy. And sometimes you just need to release and just be like, okay, this is it. You know, I don't know how to properly articulate it, but yeah, I hope
Why would you go to therapy? Had you ever been exposed? Do you know anyone who's ever gone? Had you been hearing people speak about it and you're like, okay, maybe let me try this thing?
I think my mom did go during the divorce. I'm not sure, but I think she had like a couple of sessions. And then obviously, you know, you hear about, my therapist, when you watch shows and stuff.
Yeah. Why would you not go to, or rather, did you go to some of the other crutches? When people are going through really tough times?
Yeah.
Alcohol, drugs, weed. Well, weed is normally a gateway to other drugs because if the weed is not helping, some people numb the pain through casual sex, doing crazy things like, let me leave the country. Meanwhile, we don't know. We farewell, travel safe, but you're actually escaping. Why do you think you never went for those? Or did you go for those, and how did it go?
I think my theory or outlook on life, Penuel, is I never want to need anything or anyone for me to be at peace. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I hear you.
So this is partly the reason why I do not drink alcohol. 27 years I've been sober and I've never been high. I don't smoke. I never want to feel like I can't have fun unless I've got a bottle.
Okay.
I never want to feel like I need to date a certain caliber of men so that I can have a certain lifestyle. And once they're not there now, I can't have this.
Sure.
So I always want me
to be enough
for myself. Whatever I have on, the car I drive, the clothes I have, what I'm able to afford, it's my might. And no one can ever say, I gave her that, and no one can ever take it away from me. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah.
So I always want to be conscious. I always want to be aware. So even if I'm going through a depressive episode or whatever, I never want to turn to something. I don't want to start taking sleeping pills and
antidepressants.
I don't want that. No, I just want to. I feel like controlling your mind and being in control of yourself is the most peaceful and liberating thing ever. Penuel, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. Everything I am is who I am. It's just who I am, my own might, my own strength, and no one and nothing can take it away from me. And that's just how I choose to live my life. So that's why I didn't turn to alcohol or getting tattoos everywhere and piercings. I was just
Stop hating on us with tats.
I was just like, let me just face life head on. And it's so peaceful. I sleep peacefully.
Do you think that might be one of the reasons why so many people don't go to therapy? Because they're like, no, I'll sort it out on my own. Do you think that's one of the reasons why you waited so long to go to therapy? Because you were like, I don't want someone to tell me things. You wanted to be at peace with just yourself, and you realize I'm not coping on my own. I think I need help.
Yeah, I had my moment. So that's why I decided, let me just go speak to someone. Yeah. And even with therapy, I don't want it to be my crutch. I don't want it to be like, I can't survive until I see my therapist. I don't want control. I don't want things to control my life like that, no. So the therapy was just like a reset.
Sure.
And I'll probably have a couple of more sessions now. I need it now. A couple more sessions now, and then just go back to being mentally strong on my own.
How did you find a therapist? Like, how did you, like the step-by-step process?
Yes. Someone
is listening to you, like, you know what? I actually think I need therapy. How did you find a therapist?
Like how I actually found her?
Yeah.
Online.
Did you Google?
I Googled therapists around Midrand. I was staying in Midrand that time. Okay. And then the nearest one, and then I called in and made the booking.
Did you have a specific desire for race, gender?
I don't know. I'm sorry to say this, but I did not want a black person.
Okay. Please unpack that.
Mainly because I felt like chances are they would possibly, I'm not famous, but they could possibly recognize me.
Okay.
So even though they wouldn't say it, but I just felt like, maybe. So I hope I don't get slack for this. I really didn't want a black therapist. It had to be somebody white or, Indian. Yeah.
Sure.
So I was very particular with that. And then,
Female?
Yes, female too.
Age?
I don't know her age, but she's quite old.
No, did you intentionally want someone?
No.
Just as long as they not black?
Not black.
And female?
I feel like I'm going to get slack for this panel.
No, look, you might get slack, which is fine. But it's important for us to have truthful conversations because you're not alone.
Yeah.
I sat here with a friend of mine called Upesha Yaduma, and he's a young man from a well-off family. He was speaking about therapy, and he, like a whole lot of other black men, young men, are like, fuck therapy. And he was, even when he started looking for a therapist, he was intentional. He wanted to find someone as close as possible to Iauti. So that when you speak, you're like, being Puza, he understands. So for a lot of people, relatability is important. The first time I went to therapy was in varsity. It was in a very toxic love triangle. And the therapist I was referred to was a young white lady. And from when I started speaking, I just felt off. She was white. Trying to explain the dynamics of a black child is tricky for a lot of them. Can study all the books. Number two, she was female. I'm trying to explain as a guy why these girls are pissing me off and upsetting me and why I wanna whatever. And she was just like, no, we can't discuss that. I'm like, why the fuck am I here? So I think it was very important what Pesha said and what you're saying to be intentional about what you're looking for. Because ultimately you need to be comfortable with the person you're speaking with.
100%.
Number two, I've heard black women speak about when you speak to elder black women, because they have experienced so much pain and trauma, they almost expect you to go through the same. No, my boyfriend cheated. I don't know what to do. Oh, sissy, he just cheated. And you're like, I'm sorry. So as long as he doesn't hit me, that means it's okay. And you're like, no. Whereas maybe some of the other races may have certain sensitivity because of our upbringings.
True.
We're not being raised traditionally anymore. We're not being raised rural. So some of the struggles that our mothers in particular went through, fetching water, fetching wood, you guys don't have. So when your mom is like, you're weak, you're like, I can't believe this lady. And then the white lady you speak to is like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's sad. You're like, I think this lady understands me.
Yeah.
So I fully understand the being intentional, but I do want to defend the black therapists I've met.
Oh goodness, I have nothing against them.
No,
it's just
fine.
For me and my story.
No,
I needed
course.
someone who...
Of course. We've got a situation in this country, and it's not just you, where we are very judgmental about our service providers. Again, I'm going to reference Jamie Foxx. He speaks about, I don't know if you're sitting with Joe Rogan, he speaks about the way we don't trust each other as black people. because we're kind of still new in a lot of industries.
You're making me feel bad, Penuel.
No, don't feel bad.
Jeez.
Please don't feel bad. So Jamie's like, if you get into an airplane and the pilot is black, it's like when you're sitting in the seat, every time you hit turbulence, you want to be like, hey, bro, are we still good? Are we, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, if it's a older white man with hair, he's wearing his aviators and he walks in with, and he's like, oh, welcome to, you're like, you know what? This is going to be a smooth ride. That's history. Yeah, it's historical racial stereotyping.
Yeah.
We do it everywhere. We do it when we're looking for doctors. You see a young, short, little girl who's wearing a ZCC badge, speaking broken English. Sorry, sister. You're like, can I please get the old white man there with the white hair? He looks like he's more experienced. We still do that, and it's something that we all need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Therapists, professional therapists, are trained. So for a lot of them, they are not meant to. They are not meant to bring their personal whatevers into a room. They are meant to follow prescription. Listening, trying to figure out from you what you think may be wrong, what you think might be the solutions, and then following guidelines to try and help. That's all.
Yeah.
The problem is Black therapists don't live in a vacuum. They live in the real world. And because I've met Black doctors, Black politicians, Black nurses, I'm not going to mention. Black nurses gossip about their patients, which is so unprofessional. You has been calling Ganyabani in the water and the tested HIV. And you're like, you can't do what you're doing. So I'm only saying this because I understand, and a lot of people understand. The important thing is to understand that a lot of Black therapists are professional.
Yeah.
And at some point, I hope you'll give some of them a shot and just see. But the more important conversation is when someone is going to find a therapist, be very intentional about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You happen to be looking for someone where you are living. It doesn't have to be that. You might be like, I might bump into this person in the shops. So I want to go far away. I want to go virtual. I'm a woman. My issues are about my relationship, my marriage. I want to speak to a man therapist because I want to ask him, why do you guys cheat on us? Ma'am, I'm sorry. I didn't cheat on anyone. I came to listen to you. So yeah. I understand. From a social media perspective, outside of switching off notifications, have you done anything else to minimize that noise? Do you have any other tips for people that every time they grab their phone, want to pick it up, they get anxious?
No. It's just switching off the notifications for me. I don't want to see it. I don't want... And I also asked my family and friends to not send me stuff. Don't send me screen grabs of what's being said and stuff like that. So yeah, I think maybe that
friends and stuff don't send that to you?
My friends, no. I had to ask, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. Yeah, don't send me stuff. It's okay. And then my sister, she fights back.
What does that mean?
She responds to the trolls.
That's dope. She's got energy. Do you think she's okay? Because fighting back is straining.
She's okay.
No, I mean, are you sure it doesn't affect her where you see her angry on a regular, where you're like, please just stop?
No, she's always been the typical big sister.
Yeah.
She'll fight for me, especially because I'm more reserved and more, she's the one no, don't do that.
I've warned my brother, don't threaten people on social media. These people don't care and they're not real.
True.
Whichever way you go about it, you'll lose. If it escalates and you guys end up meeting up, they might hurt you. Or you might hurt them. Now you're in jail. We have road rage, now we've got internet rage. Don't do it, disengage, it's tough. Someone is saying something that's a lot, you're like, oh my, did you see it? And your mom people post about my kids. They post about my kids and my kids' moms. What kind of stupid, dumb woman would choose to have a child with this? And you're like,
yikes.
And I'm okay, but I worry about if ever they were to see that. And you obviously worry about your kids. Yeah, but with children, you're like, people are really sad and pathetic. You've never thought of deleting?
I can't. It's my bread.
All of it. Because they can be specific.
I'm mainly on Instagram and TikTok, and that's how I make my money.
Yeah.
Twitter, I do have an account, but I'm not very active.
Yeah.
So when the episode dropped and everything was going on, I did go on Twitter, and I did see the comments.
Yeah.
And it was wild. And that's when I was like, no, maybe not.
Do you think this is a very unfair question?
Yeah.
Do you think women do enough online to defend other women?
No, actually. There was a couple of women on Twitter who were coming at me, who were in support of that guy. And that was very shocking because you expect the gents and the bubble heads and you're like, okay, whatever. But women, like a girl, sister, why are you doing that? That was shocking. That was a big shock for me. I don't want to lie. I was just like, why? You don't even know me. You know, you don't know me.
Would you go online and defend a female stranger who's crying out? Why not?
I wouldn't do it publicly. I would do it privately. I would probably DM her and like.
Were there women that did that for you?
In Penuel, in hindsight, we all have opinions, eh?
Yeah.
We all have opinions. I have opinions about Thabo Beste's case, about everything. But it's just keep it to yourself or just talk about it with your friends. You don't always have to post, especially because you know that this comment could affect someone. I mean, everybody's laughing at, Dr. Anandipa. She's got kids. Her kid is 11 years old, if I'm not mistaken. She's a teenager, so she can see this stuff. Why don't you just keep your comments to yourself? Laugh about it if you want to laugh. Why pick up the phone? Why must you be seen? You know? And that's what bugs me about people. Like, I don't mind. You can have your thoughts and your opinions, but just keep them to yourself. We all have thoughts and opinions.
Did you get DMs from women supportive?
I did.
Maybe men as well?
Yes, I did. Mostly on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I really did.
Do you think, I don't want to put everything on the government. Our government is quite useless.
Yeah.
Do you think more of us should be intentionally going on social media to educate? For example, what you've gone through now.
Yeah.
Which is cyberbullying. You're like, guys, I've gone through this thing. Like, we've got women who have been victims of domestic violence, people that have been wronged in the workplace, etc., who come out and become activists. Like, not necessarily that you have to be an activist, but you're like, I will do some activism because there are probably other people like me. Guys, if you're on the internet, take a deep breath, count to 5 before you post something. Consider that it might hurt someone.
Yeah.
When you're angry, don't pick up your phone because it's similar to being angry and going to hit your children. It's not going to be a healthy experience. You're going to be looking for someone to clash with. So stay away from it. Like, educating people on how to manage their internet usage better because we have been victims.
Yeah.
And then obviously for us to also be like, guys, if we know we sometimes slip as well, please call us out. Be like, how? You said you mustn't bully people, but you're doing the same thing. You're like, I'm sorry. My bad, actually. You're right. I'm deleting. And people also never want to apologize on social media. You know, when someone comes and corrects you with a small fact, there are 80 million people in South Africa. No, it's actually officially 58, but it might be 60.
Yeah.
Fuck, what do you know? Anyways, value people like, you're like, bro, like, you can just say, I'm sorry, thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
It's like we're constantly fighting. Do you think there are other factors at play outside of just social media? Do you think it's because people are poor, miserable, sad, they don't have an outlet, so their therapy is, let me go hurt other people online so we can all be miserable together?
This thing is a bit tricky because we don't know the faces behind an account, you know?
Yeah.
We don't know. It could be the richest guy, you know, in his mansion just trying to be slick and, you know, sending out these things. So we don't know, you know, what the problem could really be.
J. Cole was, I think, Angie Martinez, Hot 97, I'm not sure, in America. She was interviewing him and he was speaking about trolls. He was like, there's these kids at some point that were trolling me. And I didn't understand. J. Cole is whack. I could fucking out-rap him. Who the fuck does he think he is? And his image is what? Jay-Z put him on. And he said he eventually got triggered. And he went to find these kids and he found out they hang out at some, I don't know if it was a club or whatever. And he's like, as soon as he got there, all of those boys were like, yo, J. Cole, dog, I'm such a big fan. What?
Yeah.
And his whole thing was, he spoke to them and he realized these kids are not necessarily hating me. They just want my attention.
Exactly.
And they realize that maybe complimenting me and whatever, I don't pay attention to it. But the negative stuff, I go in and it's like, this Bianca girl, I wanted to fucking respond. And maybe it's someone you rejected at some point. It's like, when I sent a nice post, so pretty, likes, like...
No, but they do
respond.
that. You know, I've had guys in my DMs saying, hey, beautiful, whatever. And then you ignore them. And then they're like, F you think you the hardest thing soon after. And it's just like, how? Just because I didn't respond. So what you're saying is very true. People do that.
You have very open parents.
Yes, I do.
Open siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Very safe space at home.
Very.
Why do you think you couldn't speak to them?
About?
Fully? About the stuff you said you needed a therapist for?
My dad doesn't understand. Till this day, when I was talking to him about, the legal stuff, he was like, but Mumu, how do we even get someone we don't know? You know, he's not versed on these things. So he doesn't even understand. He's not on social media like that. He's on Facebook, I think. Yeah, so he doesn't really understand. So I can't vent to him,
Okay.
you know, in depth and get him to really understand what I'm going through. Because to him, he just thinks someone used my picture, you know, and he's just like, okay.
So what?
They used your picture, so what? Yeah.
Why would you not want to confide in your siblings?
I have, but it's just...
But to that depth.
I don't know.
Do you think there's parts of our life that we are scared to share with those very close to us?
Definitely.
Because they'll always know. And where you'd prefer a stranger because it's a nobody. Even if they don't agree with you, give you good advice, you don't fucking care. You're like, I'll never see you again. And do you think maybe some of us need to start putting our hands up to be strangers to people who just want to talk? I don't know.
The problem with telling or confiding in family sometimes is that they give you their opinion.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree, if you don't do what they've asked you to do, then there's problems. Now there's that awkwardness. Now it's I told you so. Now it's you should have, you know.
I hear you.
So maybe that's why I felt with the therapist I could fully let it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Would you be comfortable sharing how much you paid for a session? Do you know how much therapists cost?
Yes. I paid 800 Rand a session.
That's an hour.
800 Rand a session.
Now, for people that like, I really need therapy, I'm not doing well. 800.
Yikes.
What do you think the solution would be for such people? Because money is a real problem. And now you're like...
And if government had therapists, I don't think people would back them. Do you think?
Probably not, because our government shame. Because we've got social workers.
Yeah, no, people wouldn't back a free therapist. Of like...
Social workers are meant to be free therapists, but I think some people maybe don't even know. And shame, this is not even their fault. A lot of people don't know how to brand themselves online. You could be working for government and be like, look, I'm a social worker. If you live in this area, guys, we're here. Government pays us. We can help you. If we can't, we'll refer you somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe a business idea, like a medical aid for therapy. 50 Rand a month, and whenever things are not. Because the other thing about therapy that I've learned is you don't only go when things are bad. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Does it make sense to you?
It does.
Please explain, because I've got my
Okay,
own thoughts.
I'm going to try my best, but I think it makes sense. I mean, if I'm...
You're winning, making a lot of money with the love of your life, and you're like, things are so great. Let me go to therapy.
Just to check... That sounds wrong. But just to check in, man, to make sure you're still okay. Because winning doesn't necessarily mean you're sharp.
Okay.
You know?
It's like a checkup with the doctor.
Because you can be winning, but now your family's starting to be too much now.
Yeah.
Now everybody's leeching off you. You need to go release and...
Fair enough.
So are we really winning? You know, there's always something, man. We're human.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I love Jamie Foxx, man. I don't know when this episode is gonna drop from the day we shoot it, maybe in 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
But as we're shooting, Jamie's in hospital. I think he had a stroke and he's not doing well. Maybe that's why I keep referring to him. I don't know. I think Jamie's the most versatile, arguably the most talented entertainer of our time. Singer, comedian, actor. He does this one stand-up comedy and it's like, relationships. Do you love him? Do you hate him? It's like, I fucking hate him. Your thoughts around romantic relationships, marriage and your parents' divorce?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear, please.
Okay.
Please take your time as well. You don't have to rush and get an answer.
Okay. I think it sucks, if I should say, that my parents got divorced. It sucks. But there are just certain things that I am grateful for with the way that everything transpired. One, I'm grateful to God.
Shout out to the big G.
Jesus Christ. Yes.
And JC.
I'm grateful to God that it happened when it happened. So my parents split when I was in grade 10. And then the divorce started all till my first year in Joburg when I was at Star School. So that's like 3 years of this back and forth, and all that drama.
Sorry, what did split look like? They were still living together, or?
For a bit, they were still living together, but my dad was in the outside room, and then my mom was in the main house, and then eventually he got an apartment and he was out. So I'm grateful that it happened then, because we didn't have to go through this weekend I'm with daddy. This weekend mommy's taking me. We didn't have that. We were grown enough to understand what was going on, understand the dynamics, and also make decisions. So we could decide, this Christmas we're going to be with mommy, next Christmas it's daddy, mommy, I'm going to spend a couple of days with dad, and stuff like that. But the downside to it happening when we were old was that we could see everything and we felt everything. So when you were a kid, you don't know. Mommy and daddy are no longer together. You don't understand. But now we're grown, so we see everything and we understand. And it's hard to see your parents in that light, because now it's like, wow, daddy's actually not perfect.
Jeez.
Mommy's actually not perfect. And like, mommy, that was a bit selfish of you. Daddy, that's a bit narcissistic. So realizing that these people that you look up to, that have been your shield and your blanket all this time, imperfect, it's hard, Penuel. Because now it's like, okay, so who do I turn to? Who do I turn to now? So that was hard. In terms of relationships, I really do believe in marriage. I believe in marriage. Mainly, I agree that society's messed up, but my beliefs on marriage are mainly based on Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes any mistakes. So although I can see, hey, it's tough. Ziyakhala out here. People are messed up. Marriages are messed up. But my hope and my belief is that it can work because of my biblical beliefs. So I don't want to throw it out and be like, nah, because my parents divorced, because married men are cheating. This is how it is. No, I still believe that there are good men, good women, and that union could work.
Yeah.
Yes, and I hope that one day I'm blessed to have that favor upon me.
Do you think your parents' divorce did somewhat taint your belief and your fantasy into forever love? Not fully, because obviously you still believe, but to some degree now, it's like that pain we were speaking about, that now you're like, you know what? Even with all the best intentions, bad things can happen. And in realizing that your mom and dad are flawed, do you think that gave you confidence in embracing some of your flaws? Or do you think it makes you want to be even more perfect and arguably better than them? You definitely strive to be better than, the people that raised you, just for your own sake and theirs too, to be like, okay, my child is actually decent. Sure.
So I do strive to be better than them, and I do not want to make the same mistakes that they made. In terms of the relationship dynamic, I may be tainted just a bit, but mostly because of the noise. I'll be in a relationship with someone and then I'll be like, mommy, he did this, and then my mom be like, no, that's a red flag. Trust me, I know, I've been through it, and then it kind of taints me, because now I'm like, maybe she's right, maybe she's right. But deep down, my core, my belief is that yes, marriage can work. We can do it. Yes. I don't know if I answered your question.
This is an unfair question. Do you believe in marriage so much that you would get married more than once? What I mean by that is, when you get married, you commit to someone.
Yeah.
you can commit for life. The other person may commit until they meet someone else, until something happens and they leave. You can't force a person to stay.
Yeah.
You can never force a person to stay.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out if you'd be willing to get married a couple of times, or if you're like, look, I'll only do it once. And if that doesn't work, then all bets are off.
Nah, I'm a wife.
So you'll always be married, regardless.
God willing.
Okay.
Yes, I don't see myself any other way.
We're not dating society, and I know you're speaking about the noise, but there are people out there who are trying to do the right thing. Outside of the church, outside of the Bible and Jesus, what else do you think young people are doing wrong, which is leading to unhealthy relationships, lack of commitment, marriages that last 2 years, from what you've seen?
I don't want to be typical, but I'd say social media. Back in the days, people used to leave the house to cheat. Now it's just there. Now it can just
weapons
swipe.
of mass destruction.
Yeah, it's easier now to cheat, and I think people believe that there are a lot of options.
Yeah,
they are.
We've got Tinder now.
It looks like
can swipe left, right.
It looks like we have a lot of options, but so maybe that's what makes people not willing to fight. To keep what they have. So they're like, oh no, I can just go find the next best thing. I can just go find, and subconsciously I think, or I've seen that people have a backup.
This includes women.
Yeah.
Or you speak about women in particular.
People have backups.
And as soon as you have a backup, you've already destroyed.
The minute you have somebody that you know that once this is done, I'm there, then you're not going to give that your all, because the minute this person does something wrong, you're on to the next.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you at liberty? You don't have to. Are you at liberty to explain or to talk about high level why your parents split? You don't have to.
I don't mind, but this is according to my understanding, and I may be wrong. I mean, they haven't really told me the nitty-gritties, but when I speak to my mom, she did. I hope I'm getting trouble.
If you're gonna get in trouble,
no, I won't get. I don't think she will be mad. But when I speak to my mom,
maybe let's do this. Let's not speak about your parents. Let's say, of the marriages that have split, what do you know to have been the cause and the problem? And I ask this because I want to ask you if you think it can be fixed, not for your parents, but for people that go through things like that.
So what causes the breakdowns?
Yeah.
Okay, infidelity. And then I think society now, we have a lot of narcissists.
What's a narcissist?
Self-obsessed, everything about me, what can I get?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like that.
I'm a narcissist.
I know, you've told me.
I'm not sure.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
Why not?
You're not manipulative. According to me. I don't know the people you've dated or if they have different views. According to me, I don't think you're a manipulative person. I don't think you use people for what they could...
how they can benefit you.
Like how they could benefit you. I don't think you're a narcissist.
So in certain marriages, there are people who are just about themselves.
Yes, somebody could marry me just because they want to be no Bianca, Puzi, Ozopega, look after, give me beautiful kids. We don't know, and it's not because they love me. They want to take care of me. They just want something from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll make it work for that, and that makes it hard because
Can narcissism, so infidelity, I think, can be fixed. Number one, like you said, when you speak about social media, all I'm hearing is accessibility. Back in the day, yes, you'd need to leave the house. You'd need to go to a payphone. When you remove the payphone, when you remove a woman that's accessible, I can't cheat. When you remove a phone, when you give your partner access to the phone, which is also, I don't think, healthy, but it's removing accessibility. With narcissism, do you think there's a fix for that?
I don't think so.
And whenever people think of narcissists, they think of men. Whenever people think of narcissists, they think of men.
Mostly it's men, but there are women narcissists. I know a couple.
Do you think some of these slay queen girls who just want money from men are narcissists? Because they manipulate them. I know I'm hot. I want your money, and as soon as you don't have it, I'm out.
Perhaps, but maybe it's being driven by other factors like poverty and stuff. So you don't really know until you know a person.
You're saying the solution to narcissism is following Jesus?
I know. I think it's a deep psychological...
Therapy?
Maybe.
Couples counseling?
I always wondered, I don't know if you could answer me, are narcissists born or they created?
I don't know.
How do you raise up somebody to be so self-absorbed and high?
You know, narcissism is a very interesting mental disorder because that's what it's defined as. And we live in a world now that is defined by the West. The West tells us what's an illness and what's not.
How would you define a narcissist?
I would define a narcissist, as you said, someone who is self-absorbed, I think the easiest explanation is they believe they are the center of the universe and everything revolves around them. And therefore, everything should serve them as a core, I think.
So a narcissist example would be like, I caught you cheating. Why'd you go through my phone? You shouldn't go through my phone type of vibe.
No, that's a bad example. I know why you're using this as an example, but
But isn't that narcissistic?
I'm here to defend men here.
No, man.
No, when a guy is caught cheating, he panics.
But a narcissist is like, no, why don't you trust me? Why'd you go through my phone in the first place? Do you see you acting out of character? You see?
So I understand the example, like I said, but I just said it's a bad example because guys panic. And when you panic, you lie and you deflect. Bianca, who stole the sugar? No, mommy, I think Shanti was, and you're like, where? So normally when guys are like, why did you go through my phone? It's because they haven't formulated a lie yet. Later on, when they've formulated a lie, when they've realized they're wrong, they're like, babe, I'm actually so sorry. But you said I shouldn't go through your phone. But it was a knee-jerk reaction.
Okay.
For the people who are going to spin everything and make it about you, you're 100% correct. Because again, I'm the center of the universe. So you must serve me.
So you could do no wrong as the narcissist.
I'm the center of the universe, is how I define it.
Yeah.
We live in this world where the World Health Organization and all these people, they define certain terms. And what has fascinated me and why I call myself a narcissist is because of the definitions. A lot of the people who have changed the world for the good, a lot of the people who have innovated, led, conquered nations would be defined as suffering from a lot of these things. I'm going to apologize to you and I'm going to apologize to a lot of Christians, but I have to use this example because it's my prime example. Jesus Christ was born and he went around telling people he's God's son. Now, once you go around saying you're God's son, you're almost making it seem like you are special more than anyone else. And he went around telling people, if you want to live in eternal life, you have to do it through me because I'm God's son. And my Father sent me here to die for your sins. Me. And look, like I said, I'm apologizing to you and Christians, but if you were to get me today, say something similar, I go on social media and I'm like, God sent me and I'm God's chosen one and God said I must do this and I must heal and I'm like, guys, if you want a good life, believe in me. I am it. Everyone would be like, this guy's crazy and this guy's a narcissist because it ticks the box. If you look at the people that have Genghis Khan in the Mongolian Empire, Julius Caesar in the Roman Empire, people like Adolf Hitler, maybe Abu Robert Mugabe, some of these guys were very much about themselves. Some of them pretended they were for the people, but that's where the manipulation comes in. Because when you're like, if you're for the people, if we find a better candidate, if we find someone who's more qualified, you're meant to be like, guys, that person's better. But they're like, never. I'm the best. So for me, I struggle with just accepting that just because by definition I'm a narcissist, I'm depressed,
Yeah.
I suffer from bipolar, that it means I'm therefore wrong. I might be bipolar because I live in a world that triggers me. And you're telling me I'm wrong. And I'm telling you, I went outside and some guy harassed me. And then I went somewhere and someone just gave me money. And then I went somewhere else and someone swore at me. Like, I have to have these extremes because I live in an extreme world. And you're like, no, I think you suffer from something.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to move into this space where we pretend like we're ideal. And you're like, we're not. To become great, almost anywhere, Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, you need to have a level of high self-confidence.
Yeah.
And it becomes debatable depending on who's telling the story of when it's self-confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
Why must everything be the beehive? Is it the beehive, bayhive?
Beehive.
Why must it be the beehive? Why must Beyonce always be the star? Why must her dancers always be at the back? Who is she mentoring? When has she brought up other ladies?
Yeah.
Why did she crush Kelly and Michelle? And she's clearly a narcissist. It's all about me, 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 me. Not even Solange. It's me, 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 me. And you're like, I don't know. So it becomes tough. But from a relationship, marriage perspective, I was going to ask you this. I don't want to answer it. I want you to answer it. The opposite of now narcissism and serving self. What is the opposite of that in a relationship? You're a guy. I'm a guy. You're a girl. I want to build something with you and I don't want to make it about me. So what do I make it about?
I would say being an empath, but that's the receiving end of a narcissist.
Okay.
When you're always trying to please. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sacrificing yourself constantly.
Yes, just to make the other person happy.
Is it a balance?
No.
In marriage, in a relationship?
No.
It's not about balance.
Oh, no. I thought you said, is it a balance? No. I think you need balance.
A bit of narcissism, a bit of...
Yes.
Really?
There's certain moments require you to be a narcissist, you know? You need to be, okay, no, this is about me.
Know my worth. Yes, girl.
Exactly. And then certain moments require to be like, okay, Bianca, just calm down a bit. That was a bit harsh. Apologize. Take your L and be sincere. You know, so it's just like a balance. You need to be balanced. And I think that's what most of us struggle. We believe that I'm going to show you, you know? And then Nazi women, I'm a woman. Yeah, I can't. He said, you know.
From a biblical perspective, would you say marriage is purely about service? So I'm with you because I want to serve you. And I don't care if you serve me or not. Or are you saying balance is, I will serve you, but you must also serve me?
I see what you're doing. I think from the Bible, I think it's a healthy balance. And if society worked that way, things would actually be good. So the Bible says man should love and then woman should respect. So you, as a man, you love, you provide, and I respect you. So what does that look like? What does that look like? I take care of the household. I do, quote unquote, what traditional women did.
Yeah.
And then in turn, I also receive the love, the care from myself and my kids. I think, personally, I think that system works. This independent woman, it's okay now because that's where society is going. Yeah. But personally, if I could flip a wand, we would go back there. Because I think it's also very liberating. I don't know if you saw this thing. I don't know if I'm diverting. Gabriella Union. It was trending yesterday where she was like, she goes 50-50 with Dwayne, the former basketball player. And now everybody's like...
They go 50-50 financially.
On stuff. And then everybody's like, whoa. And then, the scrubs are like, yeah, power to him. No, so I don't believe in that. I personally believe a man should take care of the household and then a woman should take care, of the little things.
You're a traditional woman.
Yes.
Do you think independent woman, feminism and these things are one of the things destroying relationships and marriages?
I think so, yes. Not the underlying, some men do want a lawyer, a successful woman.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's okay. But I think the problem with the system, it started there.
Do you think men messed up?
How?
Because we had traditional systems, which today people argue they favored men.
Yeah.
all we had to do essentially was provide. Go out, hunt, provide, then the woman will cook, raise the kids, etc., etc.
Oh, what a lovely system.
Someone seems to have messed up somewhere. And if we claim to live in a patriarchal world, is it not men that messed up? Maybe they dropped the ball. Maybe certain men let women into spaces where women should not have been and other men let it go. Or, because we speak about independent women and feminism, but
I think we contributed to that, women, because we're the ones who were like, no, we want to start working now. We want to be in certain spaces. So, and maybe it's the men who allowed it.
When you look at, I don't know if you have the Islamic community, Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
I've heard of it, but I've never actually
seen.
Went into depth and.
They seem to tick a lot of those boxes, and I'm using them
What
as
boxes?
an example. The traditional roles.
Yes.
I'm using them as an example because the average Christian today, for me, as an outsider and as someone who was in, they look confused. The average Christian, not a pure Christian following the Bible.
Yeah.
The average Christian in the streets that is getting drunk and partying and and cheats and then still is like, no, I'm a Christian. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
When you look at the average Muslim, they still seem to abide by the traditional values. And if you haven't seen it, it's okay. But I was going to say, please go check them out. Because if you're serious about waving a wand, there's a potential chance that what you're looking for might be in the Islamic community. And this is dangerous. You may have to convert. You may, as an idea.
It will never happen.
Sure.
Never.
Just to go and study how they live. Because I think they tick the box of what pure Christians are supposed to be.
So the problem isn't in being a Christian. The problem is that we're not properly practicing. So the problem isn't with the Bible.
Yeah.
It's that we are not properly practicing the Bible. Yes. So I wouldn't convert. I just try to perfect the Bible.
It's a request from me. Please spend some time with some Muslims. Not to convert.
Penuel.
No, not to convert.
Jeez.
Not to convert.
Yeah.
Not to convert. We live in a global world.
Yeah.
To learn. You spoke about noise earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They live in the same world as us. So to learn from them how they drown out the noise and how they get certain things right so that you can try and implement some of those things. Because yes, you can remain whatever your belief system is, but it's always nice to see communities that seem to be doing things right. And if you look up to them, you don't have to convert, but just to be like, guys, please help me. Maybe, maybe we'll find a nice Abdul Muhammad who.
No, I can learn, but I won't.
You're looking for a Christian man with Christian values.
100%.
How does that work? I think this will be the last topic because I know you need to go.
Yeah.
What does it look like finding a Christian man and going through the process of dating and getting married?
So, let me tell you a funny story. I don't know if I should say it. Okay, it's okay. When I was single and I was like, my mom was like, oh, you should get out there, meet different people. I was like, okay, cool. So now, there's just people in my DM. I'm like, The one guy that I chose, I picked him because he had a Bible verse on his bio.
Jeez.
I promise you, the reason why I agreed to that date is because he had a Bible verse on his bio, and I was like, okay, at least he has those values. Let me go for that.
Hectic. But in the Christian form, outside of your dodgy...
Is that dodgy?
your dodgy way of... It's like going on Tinder and you're like, if he doesn't have a Bible quote as a...
No, it wasn't. I wasn't looking for it. Like,
sure.
I want to see... I just wanted to see that... Not
You
that I
guys share
wanted
the
to see.
same
It grabbed
values.
my... No, it just grabbed my attention. The fact that he had a Bible verse on his bio. It's not that I was looking to see, are you a Christian? No. I just saw that. I'm like, oh, okay, I could go on a date with him. So
But a
that's
Christian should
that's
be
why
looking for a Christian.
100%.
In church,
Yes, you can. That's also a good place.
referrals.
I don't believe in that.
Why not? That's one of the traditional ways of finding a partner. Your parents in the church are aware of other parents and their kids.
Yeah.
And even outside of you guys, they speak to each other. It's like, your son is actually really nice. Oh, your daughter's really nice. You're like, actually, they should go for coffee. I'm trying to figure out, as far as you know, what is the correct Christian way of meeting a partner and dating and getting married?
I think there's no technique. There's no standard like you must go to church. That's where you'll find your husband. You could find your husband at the club. And
How?
He's actually a decent man. No, you
How?
can. You really, Penuel, you can.
No, I know you can, but
You can.
how?
You never know. And
I'm asking you this because you're here representing Christian people.
yes, I am.
So you mustn't slip.
Pressure.
Like, guys, as Christians, if you go to the club and
No,
you
no,
might-
I'm not saying go to the club. I'm saying you can.
Yes, you can.
You don't. There's
but
no.
ideally, where are you
There's
supposed
no.
to go?
There's no. Where you supposed to go? No, there's no.
I'm a young Christian man. I love Jesus. I love God. I love the Bible. A lot of people are confused. Maybe I haven't spoken to my pastor and, oh my gosh, just stumbled upon this young lady who's a Christian. And oh my gosh, this guy just asked her a question. Where do I find the ideal partner? So this is your chance now to shine and be like, guys, if you are a Christian, this is the best place to go. And obviously a DM and a quote is probably not the best.
No. No.
So in your opinion, where's the best place to go for the average Christian person looking for a marriage partner?
Part of being a Christian, don't come at me for this, but part of being a Christian is having faith, right?
Yeah.
What does faith mean? You surrender. So I would just say, yes, we all want partners. I was hoping to be married by this age, but it hasn't happened. So I'm not going to actively go around looking like, okay, I'm going to go to church now. Hopefully he's going to be there this Sunday. No. I'm not going to go on Tinder. I'm not going to go on social media. I'm just going to surrender.
Yeah.
And with the faith, my Jesus Christ,
He'll provide.
He'll come.
So
Because
the
the minute you know how to do it, then it's not faith.
Okay.
Faith is when you're blind. You're just like, okay, I'm in this car, I'm going. I don't know how, but I'm trusting that Jesus will provide. And I think most Christians should approach dating that way, because you put a lot of pressure on yourself, man. You put a lot of pressure on yourself that I need to find the right guy. I need to find him. He needs to be. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm not equipped. You're not equipped to figure that out. So that's why you trust in your higher power.
Fair enough. Guys, pray and have faith, and maybe
Surrender.
one day.
Phela ungabi obsessed.
There's some other things I wanted us to chat about, but we'll chat another time.
Okay.
I know you have a shoot that you have to go to.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to say congrats on that.
Thank you.
I want to say congrats to you on being a great representative of the Swati kingdom. I don't think we South Africans are narcissistic in the SADC region. We believe everything revolves around us. But I do think more of us need to explore our neighbors,
Yeah.
get to know people from our neighbors. I remember I was actually at a shoot many years ago. I think I was still in varsity, and I met two guys from Eswatini, and they said something I'd never thought of at the time. They were like, democracy is garbage. I was like, what? And they were like, we have a king. Our king is the authority, and it's for us to do our best.
Yeah.
You guys are always worried about who's in power, who are we voting for, and it distracts you from working.
Yeah.
So from there, it planted like a seed in me being curious about monarchies and visiting Eswatini as well. And I do think Eswatini is still one of the spaces that is a bit more traditional,
Yeah.
similar to some parts of KwaZulu. So thank you for holding the fort down. I wish you nothing but the best, man, in this industry.
Sorry to
rough.
cut you off. The fact that you call it Eswatini is so wild to me.
Why?
I know that the name changed, but I'm so used to Swaziland.
Sure, we have to try, you know.
You not even trying. You
Yeah.
calling it Eswatini.
I'm trying
I
to respect
can't.
the
I'm like,
people.
oh, Gwanja, it's Eswatini.
I wanted to change KZN and get everyone to call it KwaZulu.
Oh, jeez.
But then I realized that I was wrong, because KwaZulu is actually a specific piece of land.
Yeah.
The entire province includes Zulu land, which was ruled by Ushaga. And there are other parts where other people settled, the Portuguese, Indians, private land. That's called Natal, of which Natal, I think, is Portuguese for Christmas, I think. So I realized that's why it's called KwaZulu Natal, because it's actually like two pieces of land. But I wish it could break away.
Yeah.
Zwelithini, may rest in peace, threatened because the ANC wanted to, dismantle Ingonyama Trust.
Yeah.
One of the things we'll speak about, I think, because I'd like to hear your opinions, is if you think kings are still relevant. And This one I won't ask you, but I'm going to say it now.
Yeah.
That it would be nice to hear Swati people's opinions of their king. I know that I can't ask Swati people because it's sensitive now politically and it gets you in trouble. But
Exactly. Don't do that.
we'll speak about it. But
Don't
Bianca,
do that.
thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Good luck
for
with your
having
shoot.
Me.
And I look forward to us chatting again.
I'm so sad. I
What's
wanted
wrong?
this to be longer.
Yeah, Melio Spana sisters, yasetshenzwa eGauteng, eGoli.
I know.
We work here, sadly.
Next time.
Yeah. But thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Bye.